Hello everyone and welcome. Today we're diving into a story that's making waves not just in Germany, but around the world. There's some big news out of Germany. Producer prices, which are what companies pay to make goods, dropped by 3% in January, compared to last year. That's a significant shift, and it's caught the attention of economists and business leaders everywhere. You might be asking yourself, why should I care about what's happening with German producer prices? Well, the answer is simple. These numbers are like a thermometer for the global economy. When they move, they can send ripples that reach your wallet, whether you're in Europe, America, Asia, or anywhere else. What's more, this drop wasn't expected. Experts had predicted a much smaller decline, so when the actual numbers came out, it was a wake-up call. Suddenly, everyone, from investors to everyday workers, started paying closer attention. This isn't just a blip on the radar. It signals that something fundamental is shifting in Europe's largest economy, and that could have a domino effect across the globe. Remember, producer prices are about the cost of making everyday products, from cars and electronics to groceries and clothing. When those costs go down, it can mean lower prices for you, but it can also signal challenges for businesses. If companies are paying less to produce goods, you might see some relief at the checkout counter. But if prices are falling because demand is weak, it could mean the economy is slowing down, which affects jobs and growth. Don't worry if this sounds complicated. We're here to break it all down for you, step by step. We'll explain what's behind these numbers, what they mean for your daily life, and how you can make smart choices in response. Understanding the economy isn't just for Wall Street insiders or financial experts. It's for anyone who shops for groceries, fills up their car, or tries to save for the future. These changes affect us all, often in ways we don't immediately see. By the end of this video, you'll have a clearer picture of how this headline fits into your own financial story and what you can do to stay ahead. So let's get started and turn today's economic news into real financial power for you and your family. Let's make sense of producer prices. Imagine you're baking a cake. The cost of flour, sugar, and eggs, that's your producer price. For a country, it's what manufacturers pay for raw materials and energy before products hit the shelves. The Producer Price Index, or PPI, tracks these costs. Think of it as inflation at the factory level. When German producer prices fall 3%, it means companies paid less for their ingredients than a year ago. This is a big shift after years of rising costs. Lower producer prices can ripple through the supply chain, eventually reaching you. Remember, when it's cheaper to make the cake, your slice might cost less too. That's why this matters. Why does a 3% drop in German producer prices matter to your wallet? Because producer prices are a leading indicator. They hint at where consumer prices are headed. For years, inflation has squeezed budgets everywhere. A drop in producer prices is like the fever breaking. It suggests cost pressures are easing. If companies pay less for materials, they're less likely to raise prices on you. Competition might even push them to lower prices. This means your money could go further. More savings at the grocery store, at the gas pump, and in your budget. It's not instant, but it's a positive sign. When you see headlines like this, think opportunity, not just statistics. The tide may be turning in the fight against high prices. That's a big deal for everyone. So, why did German producer prices drop? The main reason: energy costs. After years of high prices, energy became much cheaper in January. Lower energy costs mean it's less expensive to run factories and make goods. Other raw materials also stabilized or dropped in price as supply chains healed and demand softened. It's classic supply and demand. More stable supply, less frantic demand, lower prices. This combination, led by cheaper energy, created the perfect conditions for a significant drop. It's a sign that some of the biggest economic headaches are finally easing. Let's follow the journey from factory to your shopping cart. When a German manufacturer pays less for materials, their production costs drop. They can keep prices the same and pocket the profit, or lower prices to stay competitive. If they lower prices to dealerships or distributors, those savings can eventually reach your local store. Each step, factory, distributor, retailer, decides how much savings to pass on. That's why there's a lag between falling producer prices and lower prices at the store. The cookies on the shelf today were made when costs were higher. But as new, cheaper goods move through the system, you'll start to see relief. It's not instant, but the trend is moving in your favor. Understanding this helps set realistic expectations. Here's what's interesting. The experts were surprised. They predicted a smaller drop, but the actual decline was bigger. Why? They underestimated how fast energy prices would fall. Economic models rely on past trends, but the energy market changed quickly. This bigger-than-expected drop means relief from high costs is coming faster than many thought. It's a positive surprise, showing that inflation pressures are unwinding more quickly. The lesson? Don't just rely on expert forecasts. Understand the basics yourself. When you know how producer prices work, you can spot opportunities before the headlines catch up. That's real financial power. How does a price drop in Germany affect you if you live elsewhere? It might seem like something that only matters to economists or business leaders in Europe, but the reality is, Germany's economic shifts can have a direct impact on your daily life, no matter where you are in the world. Let's break down why. Germany is a manufacturing powerhouse. Its products and parts are everywhere, from cars to appliances to tech. Whether you're driving a German car, using a German-made washing machine, or working with technology that relies on German components, you're connected to this economic engine. When it's cheaper for German companies to make things, importers worldwide can benefit, and so can you. Lower production costs in Germany often mean lower prices for finished goods in stores around the globe, making everyday products more affordable for families and businesses alike. Even if you've never set foot in Germany, the ripple effect of its prices can reach your home through the products you buy, the technology you use, and even the jobs in your community that depend on global trade. Germany's economy also signals global trends. A drop in producer prices can hint at shifts in global demand and supply. Investors, businesses, and governments around the world watch these signals to anticipate what might come next for their own economies. Central banks watch these numbers closely. They use this data to help decide whether to raise or lower interest rates, which affects everything from mortgage payments to business loans. Lower producer prices in Germany could lead to lower interest rates in Europe, which can influence rates in the US and beyond. This chain reaction can make it cheaper for people and companies to borrow money, invest, and grow. Cheaper borrowing costs can boost economies worldwide. It can mean more jobs, more investment, and more opportunities for people everywhere. So, German PPI data is more than a local story. It's a clue about the global fight against inflation. Policymakers and investors use this information to make decisions that affect millions. What happens in Germany can ripple across the world. A single change in German prices can set off a chain of events that touches every continent. That's why this news matters everywhere. Whether you're a consumer, a business owner, or just someone interested in how the world works, understanding Germany's economic signals can help you see the bigger picture of our interconnected world. Don't be overwhelmed. Be empowered. You don't need a PhD to make smart money moves. Look past headlines and ask, why did prices change? Is it demand or costs? Spend a few minutes each week reading business news. You'll start connecting the dots. Watch for trends, not just one-off numbers. When you hear about falling producer prices, think about what it could mean for your bills or big purchases. Translate economic news into personal action. Plan for sales, adjust your budget, or look for investment opportunities. Talk about these trends with friends or advisors. The more you discuss, the more confident you'll become. You have the power to understand and use this information. Be the guru of your own financial life. Let's bring it home. The numbers we see in the headlines aren't just statistics. They're signals that ripple through our daily lives, shaping the choices we make and the futures we build. A 3% drop in German producer prices tells a story of easing costs and a turning point in the fight against inflation. It's more than a figure. It's a sign that the pressure on businesses is starting to lift, and that relief could soon reach consumers everywhere. This news started in German factories, but it ends in your shopping cart and your budget. When production costs fall, it can mean lower prices on the shelves, making everyday essentials a little more affordable for you and your family. Lower costs mean your money can go further. More savings, more opportunity. Every euro you save is a step toward your goals, whether that's a family vacation, a new home, or simply peace of mind. This is a sign things are moving in the right direction. Positive economic shifts can boost confidence, encourage investment, and open doors for new possibilities in your personal and professional life. Use this knowledge to plan, budget, and feel secure. When you understand what's happening in the economy, you can make smarter decisions, setting aside savings, investing wisely, and preparing for the future with confidence. You're not just reacting to prices, you're an informed participant in the economy. By staying aware, you can anticipate changes and adapt, rather than being caught off guard. Every bit of understanding gives you more control. The more you know, the more empowered you are to make choices that benefit you and those you care about. Keep learning, keep asking questions, and keep taking charge. Financial literacy is a journey, and every step you take brings you closer to your goals. You have the power to shape your financial future. Your actions today lay the foundation for tomorrow's success, and your knowledge is your greatest asset. Today, you took a big step. By staying informed and proactive, you're building a brighter, more secure future for yourself and your loved ones. Stay tuned for more tips. And remember, you're approved to be the master of your own financial destiny. The journey continues, and your future is in your hands.